This is the X&C Podcast, your Xbox newscast, featuring Colteastwood and Mag, hosting industry interviews and gaming talk live on YouTube every Monday night at 5 p.m. on the West Coast, 8 p.m. on the East Coast. For all of you listening around the world, X&C Podcast is available on demand on Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts. Welcome to the show. Join the chat, hit the like button, and let's get into this week's topics with the Xbox newscast. What's going on? How's everybody doing? This is the X&C Podcast with the dulcet tones of me, your host. Your
what?
Your host, Holt Eastwood, and my co-mag, Mag. I don't even know. Mag.
What happened?
We couldn't even start the show. Mag and I were just yapping back and forth. We were talking drama.
Yeah, we were talking stuff. We were talking drama, mostly about Magnum in the chat, but just that kind of thing. But yeah, we were talking about stuff. Colt, how's it going, buddy? It's summertime. It's it's somewhat slow news, but it is what it is. But we're still out here in these gaming streets. So what do you got going on this week? What's happening?
Yeah, I mean, it's been personal life has been interesting. We're in the middle of the summer with our kids home and everything, and some things pretty good, and some things a little bit challenging. But overall, I've been pretty happy. And I did that sound convincing? No, I mean, the gaming news has been a lot of downer stuff, and we're going to cover some of the good stuff and a little bit of the bad. But I'm still playing Assassin's Creed Syndicate, and I'm really glad. There are some moments where I'm like, man, this game's so great. And there's other moments where I'm like, I'm glad I'm playing this. So I'm like right there in a happy place when it comes to playing a game right now. What about you, Meg? What are your gaming credits?
I got to tell you, first of all, Magnum just made me almost fall off my chair. He wrote in the chat, "Hello, Colt and Mag. Hope you're both well." Is this the same Magnum? Was the other Magnum kidnapped? And then a nicer one came in? That doesn't sound like Magnum. Magnum's usually like, "We need Mag fired from this show." I'm just kidding. Anyways, in all seriousness, I've been playing. What have I been playing this week? I've been playing a hell of a lot of First Descendant, and it's so much fun. I'm really enjoying it. Now, the funny thing is, I started playing it. My son started playing it. And then my wife started checking it out. And she's like, all right, let me see what the hell you guys are playing. So now she's playing it. And now my daughter's on Xbox. She's playing it. And I'm like, so all four of us are in a squad together. This might be one of the first times in history the entire family, all four of us, are actually playing an online game together. Funny enough, on 4 different consoles in the same house, which is hilarious. But it is what it is, and we're enjoying the hell out of it. I'm having a great time with it. It's far less confusing to me, okay? I know people are going to call me a fraud. Far less confusing to me than Destiny is. I find it to be a lot easier to just navigate, go to a map, clear out the map. It tells you your percentage of how much is done. 100%, great. Move on to the next one. Move on to the next one. So you know what I mean? You kind of just clean up the map and move on to the next one. I'm enjoying the hell out of it. The gunplay is fantastic.
Yeah. The
sound effects, the sound design, everything is great. The gameplay is excellent. Is it a Japanese developer? I'm pretty sure it is. Just judging by the.
I should know this. I thought it was a South Korean developer, but it might be a Chinese developer.
It might be Korean as well. Yeah,
it's South Korean or Chinese. Sorry, yeah, I'm not sure.
Not Truth Serum already. Fraud alert. Okay, Bradward Fight. You keep out of this, all right?
Speaking of Bradward Fight, he left a channel member chat right before we went up, and he said,
"Hey,
how?" And I love it. He quotes us on everything, right? He says, "How painful is it to play Assassin's Creed Syndicate? Also, happy Deadpool and Wolverine week to all that celebrate."
Hey. Oh, sorry. I thought he said leak. I'm like, let's not do any of that, please.
No leak.
I spoke to somebody who, someone who actually saw the movie already. And then obviously the last trailer, I've been told, don't watch the last trailer that just came out because that also gives you that's so stupid. Apparently they give you a pretty serious, pretty heavy-handed spoiler in the trailer. And I'm like, why would you do that? I want to go in, I saw the 2 teasers, and I'm walking away. I'm not going to look at anything, whatever else. I know a bunch of people, obviously, who've seen it. Some of them saw it months ago. They told me nothing about it, and that's the way it's going to stay. So I'm excited for it. But yes, I will be going to see that Friday morning. So, yeah, that's the only time I have. I got to go Friday morning.
So I wish I had a visual for this, but they announced the Wolverine Deadpool controllers that have a magnetized detachable butt. And
I
that's
saw
like
that.
taking the world by storm. There's rumors that another controller, and it may just be a color controller or a color splash, is supposed to be announced soon for Xbox. But these two butt controllers, you can't buy them. As stupid as Xbox is, they've got something that is so on fire that the sweepstakes is going to be popular, but they could sell these things like hotcakes. Now, I know you saw those, Mag, and for those of you who didn't see or listening to the show or watching without the visual, because we don't have one, the controller has a magnetized just butt cheeks that go on the back where the battery compartment is, and it's pretty funny and cool looking. Someone photoshopped that controller blue and made it a Cortana controller today on Twitter, and that blew up. Did you see it?
No, I want it, but
can you picture it?
Well, yeah, I picture Cortana's butt all the time. But yes, no, I'm totally in on that. What are they doing? Do we have to start it's 12 minutes into the show and I'm already getting pissed off with Xbox. Guys, can you guys make millions of these? Like, people will buy them.
Just the assembly line, right?
Bill, wake up. I know it's summertime, you're on a hammock. Let's go, buddy. Let's get like a couple of 100,000. You've got Disney. I mean, Disney's kind of on the ropes, but with Inside Out 2 doing very well, and then this movie's going to do extremely well. This is the time to ride off the popularity of at least two non-bombs over the last 5 years. So can you guys capitalize on the situation? Like, strike while the iron's hot. You had $1 billion movie with Inside Out. You got a guaranteed $1 billion movie with Deadpool Wolverine. Xbox should be manufacturing hundreds of thousands of these things. People would buy them everywhere. And you know what the thing is? Have some fun with it. Just like you said, Colt, and someone online with the Cortana one. Do Cortana ones. Do the Deadpool ones, the red ones. If you want to even be cheeky, no pun intended, you can even go like, Marcus Phoenix butt or something. I don't know. Do something fun. My God, like
Marcus Phoenix butt.
Dude, the marketing just kind of does, you know what I mean? It just kind of sells itself. What are we doing? Maybe they don't want to associate with butts or something. I don't know, because they're pretty uptight company.
They are very uptight. It drives me crazy. And since they're doing this, like, the butt controllers are blowing up everywhere. Everyone's talking about them. And what are they going to give out? A couple of them? Wolverine and Deadpool. I don't know how many of those. Maybe only one of each. But if you saw it, Mag, they had magnetic contacts on the back, right?
I watched the videos, yeah.
So it's like, I don't understand their marketing team where they're not sitting back going, look, the back shell casing of the thermal formed part of the controller,
right?
Can we get that with the magnets and then the butt thing, and then we'll just worry about colors? Like, we can get that into production. Maybe they think that wouldn't sell well, but I mean, I'm thinking you'd sell a few thousand butt controllers.
I would, more than that. I think they would sell into the tens of thousands, if not even more, because just the novelty of it alone, I think, would be hilarious. And then, of course, you could get Sony on the other side making Stellar Blade boob controllers. I don't know. They could do like something like, what the hell, man? And just have some fun with it. Listen, man, at the end of the day, sex sells, and it's all about money. All right. And if you want to make a lot of money, that's the way you do it. You'd be like, oh, well, we don't want to be no. It's just having a little fun. Give me a break. It's
and the world needs a little fun, man.
No kidding. It's nothing pornographic. It's nothing weird. Whatever. Like, for example, First Descendant. I'm playing. Someone in the chat, by the way, thank you, whoever that was, said it was a Korean developer.
Yeah, thank you.
One of the skins that I got was, of course, it was a short mini skirt schoolgirl outfit or whatever. And like, you got a girl with a schoolgirl outfit and these huge boobs hanging out, and she's got an M4 carbine machine gun. And I'm like, that's great. That's great. I'll pay $10 for that skin. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's hilarious. I'm not some weird pervert. I just think it's hilarious. And
I mean, you only paid $10. It doesn't make you weird, right?
$10.
Now, like, there's 12. We'd be questioning you.
Well, if it's 12, I need more skin. You know, if I'm paying premium, I want to see premium. Anyways, in all seriousness, back to this controller. I think that it's a missed opportunity to really capitalize on something. They could have a little partnership with Disney, which they've done before on Sea of Thieves. Remember that with the Pirates of the Caribbean and all that stuff? Yep. They obviously have a partnership with them coming up with Blade. Right? So they got Blade coming up in the next whenever, sometime this decade, I guess, whether it's this gen or next gen. They got Blade coming out, so they got a partnership there. It's not like they don't know each other.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They know each other. They know exactly who they are. Like, come on, guys, Disney, you're right there. Let's get these in production. People will buy them. It's like that Tomb Raider Series X. I would have bought that day one. You guys remember that? Remember they gave it away for like a sweepstakes? Come on.
Yeah, it had like the eclipse on it, or it was like all chunky and everything. Yeah, of course, everyone.
So hot.
So expensive.
It was so hot, though. I would have bought it. I would have bought it.
I mean,
as long as it worked.
You sound like you're getting all wound up right now,
dude. I mean, as long as it worked, as long as it wasn't just for show. If it was a working console, I would have bought that Tomb Raider one. Okay, well there you go.
Yeah. No, they
pretty cool. Smoke came out of it though.
I mean, we could do a whole show about how they need to do more themed consoles. Like, they need to give people reason to buy the console. I do have welcome everybody to the XCC podcast. I didn't do a proper introduction, but I am Colteastwood without mess ups, and this is Mag, middle-aged game guy. And we're going to talk about the gaming news. We have a scrolling ticker along the bottom that will give you a pretty good idea of what we're going to talk about today. And shout out to everybody for supporting the show. Hit the like button if you enjoy the show. I know things are kind of quiet right now. People are chilling. They're in their pool. They're relaxing. News has been weird. But there's some cool stuff we're going to talk about. Recently, I was on Nate the Hate and Modern Vintage Gamers podcast last week. And they interviewed me about the future of Xbox. We're going to talk about a little bit of that. Not about the interview and the podcast interview. We're going to talk about the future of Xbox and what we're expecting to happen this year for 2024. And we might dabble in a little bit after that. But yeah, that's well, Mr. Xbox says, bro, Colt, please. It is Nobunaga. Did I say Nobunaga?
Looks like Nobunaga, but you know, Nobunaga.
I went to the phonetic spelling of it on Google before I recorded my video last night.
You're talking about Nobunaga, like the Japanese name?
Nobunaga, would sound better, but yeah, I probably said Nobunaga.
Oh, you said...
Yeah. But I mean, look at me. What am I? How else am I going to do? So I think I did get some. Yeah, it's like I even got one of the weapon pronunciations right, but I did look it up. But I played the little audio thing and it wouldn't work. And I was looking at the phonetic spelling. I'm like, Nobunaga. But what is it?
Nobunaga.
That sounds more Japanese than what I said. Because what I was saying sounded more like it was from a different part of the world. But yeah, hey, I appreciate that, Mr. Xbot. Seriously, I mean, you're late, but thank you.
What the hell was that samurai game that they played? That samurai, Capcom made it. It was literally Resident Evil with samurais in it. That was awesome. What the hell was it called?
What was that, Chad?
They made like 3 or 4 of them. Remember that?
I don't know. Literal Table 756. I'll get back to that, Mag. I haven't looked at my video at all. I'm sure the comments are horrid.
Onimusha. There it is. Dead time. Thank you, Onimusha. There you go.
Yeah, that's right.
The reason why I'm bringing that up is because Nobunaga was in the game. There was Samanosuke was in the game. And like those were names. Those were names, baby.
Well, Yasuke was in a final. I was just talking to somebody today. There was another like Square Enix title that had Yasuke in the game, and he's a samurai in that. So if you missed it, what's that?
What game? Out of curiosity.
I can't remember. It was like a final something game, not Final Fight or Final Fantasy. Final something.
The only finals I know are Final Fight and Final Fantasy.
Something like that. Somebody told me today, and it's a game I haven't played, so it went one ear out the other. What's this? We got everybody's talking about all these games. So I'll give you a catch up. I put out a video early this morning that probably no one wants to watch, but some news came out that this author that Ubisoft was citing claims that Yasuke is a samurai, and then there's no real concrete historical evidence to back it up. So other experts are claiming he is a samurai based off of certain reasons. So I broke that down in the video, and then I kind of gave this speech, Mag, that it shouldn't matter what the character is. They should just be a great character and a fun character to play. But I think Yasuke looks really cool, but I'll play Naoe as my main character. I probably said that name wrong 900 times in the video. Like Magnum says, you couldn't even say Wu-Tang Clan. Yeah, and I every day I will learn. So, protect your
neck. Protect your neck.
Protect it. Yeah. I don't know if people want to talk about this for a minute, but I guess I've said enough because I did a whole 13-minute video on it. But
Sure.
How are you feeling about, and I know we talked about this last week, Mag, but how are you feeling about Yasuke? How are you feeling about the game? Like, leave out the when you want to play the game. Like you said, I want to wait till it gets all patched,
I know.
I want to hear like how you feel about it. Like, you know.
Here's the thing. At the end of the day, it boils down to two things. Is it a good game? That's number one. That's all. That should matter more than anything else, because what ends up happening is, just like a movie, just like a TV show, just like anything else, if it's good, people will gravitate towards the character no matter what or who they are. It doesn't make a difference. It shouldn't make a difference, and it generally doesn't make a difference, right? If it's something of quality. So that's number one. Number two, my only thing is that you were mentioning how you wanted to play as I always forget her name.
Nawe, I think.
Nawe? I didn't even know. But okay, the ninja. So we're gonna go with stealth, right? That's the way I play Assassin's Creed games. I have zero desire to play as a tank, assuming from the trailers, from what we've seen and everything else, that he is exclusively a tank character. So if that's the case, I have zero desire to be a tank character. I don't like tank characters in shooters. I don't like them in third person, first person, anythings, hero shooters, anything like that, cooperative games, Left 4 Dead games. I never play as the tank. Even all the way back to like Golden Axe days. I'm just not interested in that kind of, that's not the game mechanic I prefer. I prefer fast, smaller, you know what I mean? And then of course stealth. And that's why, now the thing is, if we don't get a choice, which is what I think is going to be the case, I think it's just going to go back and forth, back and forth. I don't think it's going to give you a choice of one or the other, and then you get to play the whole story as one or the other.
It's permission. Right? It's permission. You get to choose. Mostly.
Oh.
Okay. Yeah, so that's the best way to say it. I would say for the most part, you can choose who you want to play the mission as, but I'm sure there'll be forced missions as each, so you get the whole.
Yeah. That's fine. I mean, because you're going to want to get the whole narrative, right?
Sure.
So I mean, at some point, I'm sure you're going to play as Yasuke because you're going to be following his storyline, right? From his point of view, from his eyes, from his, you know what I mean, from his angle, and then all of a sudden you're going to get like the ninja storyline and whatever else. So okay, that I don't really care about any of that stuff, as long as it plays well, as long as it's great. But like I said, my preferred game style is stealth. And so it has nothing to do with the character. It just has to do with the gameplay. That's it. So if the game is great, then I'm going to play it. What the hell? So what's the difference? Like, to me, it makes no difference.
Yeah, I asked my audience in the video today to just for 30 seconds to turn on a filter and not look at Yasuke as a black samurai, but look at him as, like you talked about, a tank, the weapons and the armor and everything. And look at this and see if this is something you want to play as. And I also said that Ubisoft totally could have made Yasuke a different character that was just a hulking samurai tank and not based him off that character. Mr. Xbot in the chat says they're not upset about him being black. They're upset about him being gay. And it's funny because you and I were talking about this before we hit the red button and started going live, that that everyone's upset because they heard that if you play as Yasuke, you can romance a male, a female, a goat, or a piece of bamboo if you want.
You know, the thing is that depending on how many drinks I have, bamboo looks pretty hot. Anyways, in all seriousness,
isn't bamboo the name of the stripper you had for your 21st birthday?
Well, maybe, or 49th birthday.
Hold on, but hold that thought, guys. Before we won't get super political, but we seriously should be able to have a laugh about some of this surface level stuff, and we will. So sit back and enjoy the show, Meg. It's your floor.
Now the thing is, I saw the same thing. I was going about my day or whatever, and then news articles and videos started popping up or whatever else and saying, not only is Yasuke black, now he's gay. And I'm like, what is this? So I click on it, and then I read the article, and they're like, well, you have options to be able to romance people of the same sex. And I'm like, they've been doing that for like the last 5 games. That's not new. That's not a new mechanic, right? So, but the way that was twisted, and you know me, folks, I am dead set against woke. That's not woke. Okay, so don't get it twisted. Make sure you get your ducks in a row when you want to call something woke. Just because it's whatever doesn't make it woke. So know your terminology. Anyways, I was reading it and I just said, that's okay. That's not a news story. That's literally the same thing that like the other Assassin's Creed games up to a certain point were doing the same thing. You had the options when you had the dialogue trees, right? And so I'm like, when I was Cassandra in Assassin's Creed Odyssey, I was literally sleeping with everybody. dudes, chicks, whatever, man.
Goats.
Walruses, dolphins, like anything I can get my hands on, I was romancing. And whatever, man. It is what it was. And this is no different. So all they're doing is that you're given the option, I would imagine, in the exact same way that you have the dialogue trees, and then you get to choose whether you want to say, okay, well, see you later, enjoy your rice, or hey, do you want to come back to my rice paper house and, have a little discussion, whatever. And so you have these options to do that. That's no different than the other games that we've been playing. And I mean, some people, a very, very small minority, were bitching about that, because the thing is, at the end of the day, it's a choice. You're not forced to do it. You can if you want, or you don't have to. It really doesn't affect anything. And other RPGs do that all the time. If you play Baldur's Gate 3, the infamous stories out of Baldur's Gate 3 and the options and the choices you can make there, same thing. But nobody's complaining about that.
So I think Saints Row 4 did it, and I don't know how long.
Yeah.
I don't know how long I want to carry on, because I know people probably aren't super interested in it, and
I'm just saying it's a non-story. It's a non-story.
It is a non-story. I guess I'll end it by saying that Valhalla is not the favorite Assassin's Creed, but it's the highest sold. And then I was looking at all the Assassin's Creeds, and they average around 82, maybe 85 meta across the whole series. So the Assassin's Creed games aren't bad by any stretch. They certainly sell really well. And I think it really comes down to the microcosm of people that have the loudest voice. The ones signing the petition, they were like, we don't like this. But I think the rest of the world's like, I just want the game to be good. So let's talk about, let me grab, B. Martin with the member chest says, let's have a great show tonight, boys. Cheers from Canada. Thank you. Mag. Love it. Christopher Jetzer says, thank you for the 5. Says, Cole, I found your conversation with Nate the Hate and MVG, Modern Vintage Gamer, insightful. Good job, smiley face. Thank you. And that's what Literal Table is actually talking about, Mag. He corrected in the chat that the bad comments were on Nate the Hate's podcast, which was super weird. We had a great show. It was their longest one ever. They went almost 3 hours with me. And we talked about a lot of stuff about how Xbox is missing with marketing and how their games are landing and what they need to do better. And I thought it was really good, but man, people were not happy that they had me on their show. And that morning, I'm like, this really sucks. It really sucks to read the majority voice on the comment section where people are like, I don't like that person. And I know that's what they want me to feel, but we had a really good show. Let me move forward to Concord. I spent time with Concord, the beta on Steam this weekend. Yeah. I mean, I played it 5-6 hours, and I gotta say, I like the game. I like it. I wanted to get you to play it, Mag, before we met up today, but I like the game, but it's so weird. I'm playing, I'm like, how are they charging for this? It's just, it doesn't seem right that they want to charge for this game, and there are not enough people playing it. They peaked at 2,300 people on Steam, which means they probably peaked at around 2,500 people on PS5. The numbers are probably really low. It's looking like a critical failure. The reception for the game is really bad. It's a 2.5 stars out of 5 on the PS5, but I can say all that and tell you that I did enjoy my time with it, but it just makes me wonder, why in the world is this game not free to play? It just doesn't feel right that they want people to pay $40, and I don't think they will. Mag, do you have an opinion on Concord?
Yeah, it's funny that actually a lot of the reviews I was reading from different outlets were actually saying the game is actually pretty good. It's actually fun. It's this and that, whatever. But the decisions around the game, as you had already mentioned, the business decisions around the game were the negative, and the negative in there. And I think that that's also reflecting in the scores that people are giving it, because from what I understand, and even like I said, I've looked at all these different articles from all these different media outlets are actually saying the game is fun and it's actually really good. Problem is, you're charging $40 for something that should be free. That's always the caveat when I read one of those reviews, and I read about 5 or 6 of them. And the caveat in every single one, the asterisk in the corner is, why are you charging $40 for this? This should be a free to play.
Yeah.
Right. And then look at what came out the exact same time as the beta. I had just mentioned at the beginning of the show, the First Ascendant. Did you see the numbers for First Ascendant?
I don't remember. Do you remember what they were?
Dude, 10 million in the first 6 days. So before anybody poo-poos the game, 10 million in the first 6 days and apparently climbing. Now, that doesn't mean it's going to stay. It doesn't mean, like, look at Pal World exploded right off the bat, and nobody talks about that anymore. But if it maintains those kind of numbers for at least a couple of months or whatever else, or maybe just keep going, who the hell knows? But you have all these people are playing First Descendant free to play, and look at the quality of that game. Outstanding graphics, amazing gameplay, great characters, great gunplay, all that kind of stuff. And then you've got this Concord game that they put behind a $40 paywall. I know that there's a beta going on right now, but what I'm saying is that puts a bad taste in people's mouths right away. You put a $40 paywall up there. You put some constraints on it when you want to play when you wanted to play the beta on PlayStation, like you had to pre-order it or whatever. And I'm like, this is not gonna be the way, guys. Especially when the competition down the road, First Descendant, just came out free to play and said, "Here you go, cross-platform." Xbox, PlayStation, PC, everybody's playing that game. In my house, you've got Xbox and PlayStation, and we're all playing the same game at the same time and having a blast doing it, and it didn't cost us a dime. If I were to buy that for the 3 different consoles, I would game share with one. It would cost me $714.20. It would cost me like $230 if I were to buy 3 copies of that for all 4 of us to play it. One copy on the Xbox ecosystem, game share on another PlayStation ecosystem, and then buy one for another PlayStation console. So the fact that they gave this to me for free, and then you're charging for this is you're already putting yourself behind the 8 ball with a game that people don't want. Now, here's the other thing. Hero shooters, maybe a year too late. Maybe 2 years too late, since the Overwatch thing took over and all that kind of jazz.
I mean, Overwatch 2 is really popular, but yeah, people have a real problem against that sequel. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's right. So there's that. And then the other thing, and the final thing about the game is that, once again, what they've done to themselves is that this game specifically, and usually Sony's pretty good at this, but this time they're not. When Xbox, and this has been going on for about 6-7 years, and believe it or not, I know you love him or hate him, but he used to talk about this like 6 years ago, 7 years ago. Crap Gamer used to talk about him. He says, the problem when Xbox releases a first-party game, and he was right, by the way, 100% right. He said when Xbox releases a first-party game with no other game in sight, there's such a hyper-focus on that game that if the character trips on a rock
or trips through,
just stubs their toe on the way to the next mission, that's it. It's a failure. It's a 5 out of 10. It's this and that and the other, whatever else. And there's this hyper-focus on that, and that was always been Xbox's thing. Now, PlayStation has really not much on the horizon here right now, right? First party's not talking very much. They're kind of closed behind closed doors. Nobody knows if this Pro's coming out. The fall is looking pretty light, other than like a mediocre looking Silent Hill and of course Call of Duty, right? So you've got that. So now you're like, you got Astrobot. Sorry, Astrobot looks fantastic. That's gonna do great. But besides that, right now, it's kind of quiet. They had a very busy first front of the year, but the second half of the year is quiet. So now, when Concord is coming out and they've got this beta, there's a hyper focus on this one game because there really is nothing before and after it right now, right? There's this big sort of empty chasm. And so now they've got the microscope times 1,000 on that game, and that's their own fault. If they release that Concord game next to a big first-party game or whatever, if it was buffering up against something, you probably wouldn't notice it as much, right? They'd be like, all right, well, Concord came out. It didn't really hit numbers or whatever, but look at this game. This game has sold 5 million copies in the first 3 days and this, that, and the other. And so, you know what I mean? Like, you buffer it with something else in there. So, like, there's a little bit, whatever. But because they got nothing else around it, it's just kind of standing there alone and scared, and it's getting stomped on. But my understanding is that the quality is there and the fun factor is there.
For Concord?
Yeah, but the problem is you put the paywall, and you've got nothing else going on in that ecosystem at the moment.
Shut up, chat. Just shut up.
So that's that.
They're cracking me up. They're cracking me up while you're talking. They're making comments about the Crap Gamer thing. D-Batch's next video. Crap Gamer is validated. No, it's they're all having fun.
He wasn't wrong about that stuff. He wasn't wrong about that stuff. Like, remember when Xbox would release a game, it'd be like one game and then 7 months of silence and then another game.
I mean, I got to make an editorial there that PlayStation can have dead times because they've delivered consistently. You and I both have said that many times, so I'm not correcting you.
They all have dead times.
Yeah, that's true. But Xbox does even still have to prove. They still have to be in that proving ground a little bit. PlayStation does as well in their own way, but I don't know how else to say that the mechanics of Concord are great. I like the gunplay, the animations, and the characters kind of goofy. All that stuff's good. You only get access to a couple different modes. It feels like it only does a few things that you've done many times before. The little cutscenes are cool, but pointless. But it's just the feeling when you play it, you're like, why are they charging for this? Games like this don't cost money. And I know that we paid $60 for Overwatch in 2016, but that just isn't the thing anymore. And I gotta say, I watched a bunch of footage. Like, I was gonna make this video about Fragpunk, that is gonna be Xbox exclusive, a hero shooter, versus Concord versus this game, Marvel's Rivals, which I watched a bunch of footage that I kind of laughed at it when I first saw it at State of Play in whatever May or June it was. Whatever, May, June. I don't remember. Marvel Rivals, Mag, is actually pretty cool. And one of my buddies, Black Viking, who does content as well at the Longhouse podcast, he was also pretty excited for it. So I sat down and watched a bunch of footage. And, you know, when you've been around as long as me, I can watch footage long enough to where I'm like, okay, I know how that feels. And it's a total ripoff of Overwatch, but mostly in third person. And I think it looks really fun. I think Marvel's Rivals is going to eat Concord's lunch and not even look back. And maybe Marvel's Rivals won't last, but have you seen Marvel Rivals?
Yeah. Now the thing is, you brought up a good point there when you brought up Marvel's Rivals. I'm just gonna call it I'm gonna call it Marvel Rivals. You've already set the precedent.
Marvin Rivals.
Marvin's Rivals. Yeah, poor Marvin. They've already set a precedent about 5 years ago. You've got Apex Legends free to play. You've got Fortnite free to play. You've got DC Online free to play. Now Marvel Rivals
Paladins free to play. Paladins is fantastic. Yeah.
Yes, Destiny 2. The Last Descendant now. These games are all coming out free to play, and they're making up a ton. What did I say?
First Descendant. Somebody at last show was like, you guys keep saying the name wrong. Like, shut up.
Did I say the Last Descendant? My God, I meant the First Descendant, not the last. First, the
Third.
Second to Last Descendant, the second to last first cousin's descendant.
A quarter past the First Descendant.
Yeah, exactly. These games have all set the precedent of the model moving forward for those games, not for all games, for those specific types of games. And then you come along and you're trying to charge 40 American, which, by the way, here they're probably charging, I would guess, somewhere around $59.99 for that game. No, it's not going to happen. It's not going to sell. And you know the problem is? The problem is you set the tone now. People are already associated the name Concord with no. You know what I mean? So it's going to be Concord? No, right? It's going to be like it's got a negative connotation now. So therefore, even if they decide at last minute, they're like, you know what? It's free to play now. Everybody's going to be like, it's too late, bro. You missed the bus.
Do you think
You missed the bus.
You think they'll pump the brakes last minute and put this sucker into PS Plus?
They could, but even launch? Then, is anybody going to bother playing it? I'm not going to play it. I have no desire to play it. I don't like hero shooters. I don't like arena shooters. It's not my thing. But I wouldn't even give it a shot if it was free because I'm busy doing other stuff. The fall's coming up. We got big titles coming. I've already got big titles in the backlog. We got new ones coming up that we got to play. By the way, speaking of titles, I'm going to get this out of my system right now. 1 minute. 1 minute of everybody's time. Flintlock sucks.
I can't even.
Okay?
I can't even start it because I just haven't heard anything really great about it.
It's terrible. And I'm so upset because I've been waiting so long for that game to come to Game Pass. I played it day one. I'm on World 3. And it's just not good.
Got delayed a year too, Mag.
Oh God, they should have just delayed it forever. The camera's terrible. It swings wildly. That like all of a sudden, like you just touch the control ever so slightly, touch the thumbstick, camera swings all the way around, and all of a sudden the enemy's behind you, slashing your back, and you're dead. And it's not me. Don't be like, oh Mag, it's your old thumbs that can't do. No, okay. Yeah. I play Call of Duty and I wipe the floor with people, okay? It's not my thumbs, and it's not because I'm old or I got arthritis.
No, people know that game has its issues.
Yeah. Oh, the double jump is atrocious. I think I've seen a rhinoceros do a more graceful jump than she does. The dodge mechanic where they do she does like the butterfly jump. Like, are you out of your mind? Can't you do a roll like everybody else? Like, make it a little more graceful. It's awful. Just not good. I've even had moments where, like, when a game with a Souls-like game, what's the number one thing you want to worry about? That's right, folks. Parry.
Yeah.
Defense. Parry. Being able to counterattack, this and that, whatever. I go to parry, and the guy's sword goes through me. Through my sword, and then still hits me. And I'm like, did I just see that? And, like, you actually see my sword like this on a horizontal. And the other guy's sword goes through it and still hits me. And I'm like, oh, my God. So Fonz was talking about it, and I'm like, dude, this game is a 5 out of 10.
Is he not liking it? I haven't talked to him in a day. Okay.
No, he's no. From what I saw when he was talking about it, he's not really enjoying it.
He went back to play Red Dead on PC, so yeah, he's not liking Flintlock.
Yeah, no, I'm really upset about that. I'm disappointed with that because I was really looking forward to that. So
yeah,
but that's for another conversation. Anyways, the point is, back to Concord.
Gaming's doomed. Yeah, gotcha.
The game is doomed, and they should never have bothered. Well, they never should have bothered with the price tag, and even if they pull it back and they put it on PS Plus, the damage is done.
Oh, we're on
Concord.
Damage is
done.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I'm saying I was going back to Concord. So yes, I'm like, the damage is done, and that's all there is to it, man.
Okay, well, you say that, but like it's doomed either way. I mean, isn't the last ditch effort? I mean, I got to get a prediction because my prediction is that they're gonna last ditch effort. They're gonna announce weeks before the game comes out, which is like August 23rd or something. Or 25th?
Yeah. It's the last week of August.
Yeah, a couple of weeks or weeks before the game comes out, they're going to announce Play Concord on PS Plus members get Concord included with their membership because they're not going to be able to. The game will just die. It'll just naturally die if they can't get enough people to buy it and not enough people to fill the matchmaking stuff. So,
they'll do that. They'll do that. But the problem is how long? Like from that ecosystem, just a few weeks later, you got Astrobot coming out, and then a few weeks after that, you've got Call of Duty coming out. Like what kind of retention are you expecting at that point? I'm not expecting much retention at all, to be quite honest, because like I said, again, those other big titles are coming out.
Yeah,
that's it, man. Everybody's attention's going to be gone.
Some bigger games come out by September, so you get. I don't know. And it's just me when I played Concord. Like I had some moments, but I'm like, how many matches do I want to play before I want to do something else? And I'm not the only one, but I think Concord's a failure and it sucks because PlayStation said, this is great. We want to buy this studio based on the merit of that game. And Bungie developers or ex-Bungie developers worked on it. And
well, you know what? You've got great developers. You're absolutely right. I looked into that. I looked into Firewalk. They got some great talent there. Utilize them for something that Sony's actually good at, which is first-party single-player content. Stick to what you know. Stick to what's popular. Stick to what's fantastic, and just move. You know what I mean? Like do that.
Yeah.
Like just like don't like the games of the service stuff and this and the shooter. You know what? Why don't you focus on a first-party narrative like what is it called? Resistance. Remember that that series they used to have?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
It's a shooter, ain't it? But make it a first. Make it a first. Yeah, and like just make like a Resistance game or what the hell was that other one they had? For the life of me, I can't remember. It's okay, it'll come to me later. But there was another franchise that's been dead forever. Not SOCOM. It was something else. Killzone. Like, you know what I mean? Like they got Killzone, they got Resistance, they've got SOCOM. Yeah. Get them to work on something else, man.
It's funny how Sony will just like pump the brakes, or they'll put Killzone on ice when they think it's not gonna keep moving forward. And Xbox keeps pushing forward with Halo, and they're like really forcing it, trying to keep it going. But
Christopher Stewart says, story. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, you do. They do need a great narrative story. Sorry, I talked over you there.
No, it's all good. Look at E-Day. Look at what Gears of War. Everybody's getting pretty tired of Gears of War. Like each one that was coming out subsequently, we're getting less and less people playing them. Like Gears of War 4, Gears of War 5. Hivebusters did well, but like generally speaking, those numbers were going. The engagement numbers were going down. And so now you got E-Day, and it's completely revitalized the franchise because you're going back to the beginning with the characters that we actually want. And what does that got to do with? You guessed it, the narrative direction of where you're going to go. If you have a great narrative and a great story and a great setting, people will come to it. Doesn't matter what the genre is, well, minus hero shooters. But I mean, if it's going to be like a Resistance or a Killzone or whatever, if it's a fantastic, big, bombastic story, people will come to play it. So focus their talents on something that Sony's good at instead of wasting their time and money. I heard it cost them between $50 and $150 million to make that game, to make Concord. What for?
I think as podcast hosts, we say things like that a lot, and I find ourselves really guilty of saying, why don't you just take this beloved franchise and go make a bunch of money with it? And the really sad reality is, I'll say this again for those of you who didn't hear me say it like 2 or 3 weeks ago on the show here. The sad reality is the games we loved a decade ago, those people don't work there anymore. Those leaders, those leaders and creatives that made that game so magical. Think of the person that made Mass Effect 2, the group of people. Maybe it wasn't just Casey Hudson, but just think about the people that made Mass Effect 2 so wonderful. And you want to revitalize that in Mass Effect 4, which they're working on in the next 3 years. But those people don't work there anymore. So all you can do is emulate that greatness and hope that if someone's going to say, like Special Nick, shout out to Special Nick in the chat. Hi, Lotus Esprit. I see you in the chat as well. Special Nick said, Resistance 1 was awesome. I remember being at a GameStop and I said, I want to get into the Resistance series. I just bought a PlayStation. And this guy says, get Resistance 3. It's the best one. I'm like, okay, because I only want to buy one. And he didn't have me start with one. And I couldn't get into it because I started in the third one. But I heard the first one's way better, but those times have come and gone. But those people are gone. Like, this is why Suicide Squad is a game and we're not getting another Batman Arkham game, because those people are gone. They don't work there anymore. And I don't think it has to do with the way the way the world's changing, but those people that made those games we love a decade ago or 15 years ago, it's probably more like 15, Mag. The world was different then, and those people don't work there anymore. Would you agree?
True, but I mean, yeah, but the people that are up and coming should be able to recapture or at least pay homage to the magic of what made those games great before. For example, Gears E-Day does not have anybody or very few people that worked on the games when Marcus Phoenix was actually the lead character in the game to begin with. Those people aren't there. Ferguson is not there to make this new game. Yeah. Right? So what they're going to have to do is that if you're passionate enough of any generation, doesn't matter if you're 50 or you're 25 years old, if the passion is there and you understand you understand what the assignment is and you understand what you're going for, then it shouldn't matter. It's just like film. Like you can have like Doctor Who, from 60 years ago, even up to like to 20 years ago to 10 years ago, was still be able to recapture the magic that got it to where it was or whatever else, because the people understood the lore, they understood the project, they understood, you know what I mean? They understand, like I said, the assignment at hand. And I think that could be applicable to any form of art, as long as you know what you're doing. As long as you understand exactly where it's coming from, you know how to do it, you respect the source material. You may not use all the source material, but at least respect and understand where it came from, instead of this whole cancel culture thing of let's just ditch everything and do our own thing and make it for modern audiences. Don't do that. Don't do that. Does anybody like you know what I mean? Like, that's where everything falls apart. And that's why, if you understand, like I said, and that's why, by the way, Indiana Jones is so important to me right now, because I hear, there's two sides of the coin. Okay, you've got you got what's his head there, Todd, the Keebler elf there, talking about he's like, oh, I love Indiana Jones, and he sounds like a Keebler elf. I'm sorry, dude. I'm sorry. I mean,
he does. He does.
He sounds like a Keebler elf.
He's watching the show right now, by the way.
I know he's watching the show. God damn it, he's gonna kill me when I see him. Whenever I bump into him, he goes, "Oh yeah, I'm the Keebler elf, eh? Get him out of here, security." Yeah, as I'm being dragged away out of like the games conference. Anyways,
you're being dragged away by like two mascots wearing the Fallout character thing. Yeah, that's gonna be amazing.
So like Todd Howard says things like, "I'm a huge Indiana Jones fan. I grew up with it." He's a little bit older than I am, or both of us. And he's like, I know it. I understand the tone, the feel, the music, the situations, the traps, you know what I mean? Like the high drama, the situations, the action scenes. He gets all that. right? So you're like, okay, this guy understands the essence of Indiana Jones. But then I see the half-shaved pink hair guy with the shirt where like the shirt was riding up on his belly button like this, and he goes, "We made Indiana Jones and we upgraded him for modern audiences." And then I went, "Oh, shish kebab," and I'm like, so Todd Howard gets it. Then you got this other guy did what he said, and I'm like, oh crap. Let's hope none of that made it into the game, right? So, you know what I'm saying? It seems like Todd Howard has the essence. Tell me if I'm wrong, chat. I know I'm right. You know, he's got it in his hand. Just make sure the other people working on it don't mess it up. They could totally do it, man. They could totally do it and make it great. And that's what it all comes down to: legacy, and it comes down to understanding the tone and the feel of the art form that you're working on. That's all it is.
Okay, I mean, I'm still a little bit concerned about how
Tim
the game's
Richards,
going to shake out.
Go to hell.
Tim, what's going on? I see him once in a while here in the chat, and he was like, "What do you want, Tim? What do you want? Send me a message, and we'll figure it out. We'll get you taken care of." Yeah. Fallout modern. I don't remember what that modern audience guy was. I think that was Redfall.
No. The
About?
modern audience guy was in the Indiana Jones trailer.
Oh, it was Indiana
Hey, Tim.
Jones dev. Okay,
Yeah, that's why. So
that
like,
was
Todd Howard
a Swedish Machine Games developer.
I don't know. All I know is that Todd Howard was talking in the beginning of it. Sorry, Tim Richards, I'm talking right now. Is that okay? There's only a 2-man show. So, you know, unless you want to come on and talk.
Wait, can I talk too?
Of course.
You're supposed to say no. Okay, I don't even know where we are, but
We're just having fun.
we are just having fun. I want to get some of the gripes out of the way so we can move on. I'm excited for Star Wars Outlaw. I'm just gonna take a detour onto the dirt road for a second. I'm excited about Star Wars Outlaws. I think it looks fun. I hope it's good, but previews are not going well. And they did a 10-minute preview trailer. Journalists are writing articles that just looks rough. It doesn't look polished enough. I looked at the space combat, which was supposed to be way cooler than Starfield's, and apparently it isn't. It isn't even nearly as good as Starfield's space combat. I'm excited for Star Wars because typically the Star Wars video games have given me okay, I can still be a Star Wars fan more than some of the TV stuff has. I don't know, Meg. I think there's a little bit of trouble for Ubisoft. They're coming up against, this is the biggest marketed game they've ever done. They said they're spending so much money to market Star Wars Outlaws. It's kind of up against the ropes. Some people are being really super incredulous about it. What's fudge, says Fonz Gaming. Shout out to Fonz. We haven't talked in forever. Which when I say forever, I mean it's been like almost 2 days since I've talked to him, which feels like forever. I want to gauge the chat, and I'll keep an eye on it while Mag and I talk about this, but I want to buy Star Wars Outlaws day one, or I want to play it day one, whether I subscribe or whatever. But Ubisoft, I know, sorry, Mag, there's a lot to like unpack, because there's a lot of people who just do not like Ubisoft. They're sick of them. But then I look at their games, I'm like, but I still enjoy a bunch of them. And there's a couple that I can't stand. But there's a bunch that I really, really like. And I thought Star Wars Outlaws would be something I really, really like. I feel like I'm going to play it and go, this is just okay. That's where I'm feeling right now. How are you feeling about Star Wars Outlaws?
You know, I was really excited for it initially, and I'm the more I'm seeing, the more I'm hearing about it, I'm starting to become a little bit trepidous. I'm having some I'm having a bit of I'm like, oh no, they were saying the previews are not looking great, the hands-on are not doing too hot. Some of the downgrades and graphics aren't doing good. I saw some people I know some people are sort of like dogpiling on Ubisoft right now because of the whole Assassin's Creed Shadows thing. Yeah. So they're sort of getting, you know what I mean? They're sort of getting bullied in the schoolyard at the moment. But there was even videos out there of people analyzing the explosions of the thermal detonators in the trailer or the gameplay trailer. They're like, look at that, it's not even a realistic explosion. And I'm like, holy crap, guys. I'm like, okay, well, let's just see what it is. But like, I got to tell you, if there's one thing that Ubisoft does incredibly well, is that their open world action games are a lot of fun. They're gorgeous. And you know what I mean? Like, look at Far Cry. Look at how amazing the Far Cry games are. Look at how amazing the Assassin's Creed games are.
I still enjoy them. Like, let me add in earlier. Far Cry 6, I was like, we already did this. And then I ended up enjoying almost all of it. I'm going to ask the audience, are you playing Star Wars Outlaws? And then go ahead. Hopefully you remember where I cut you off.
No. I was going to say that the other one that I'm going to start playing very soon, probably in the next couple of weeks, is I'm going to be playing the Avatar game that they released. A lot of people were talking about it, saying it was a fantastic game. Shout out to Jamie Moran on the socials or whatever. Like, he was posting all kinds of beautiful screenshots of the game. He's like, this game is gorgeous, plays well, whatever else. And actually, he was the one who sold me on the game, because I generally don't.
What did he say?
He was just saying the game was great. And this was like last year when it came out. And he sold me on the game. So I waited till it was on sale, because, Ubisoft, they're famous for putting games on sale really fast. Like, within the first month, it's already 30% off, right? So anyways, he sold me on the game. I don't listen to legacy media because I think they're all full of crap. So I listen to fellow gamers and other YouTubers, right? Even if you don't even have a channel, I'll just ask somebody about, like, dude, we play the same games. What do you think about this? So anyways, he sold me on the game.
He doesn't even have a channel.
Yeah. And and then I bought it, and I played about 2 hours of it just to get a feel. I always do that. I play 2 hours and I put it down, go back to the backlog, and I loved it. And I was like, this is great. So Ubisoft makes great games.
Can I cash in one of my ADD coins? Which game are you talking about?
Avatar Frontiers of Pandora.
Mag, I am so sorry. I'm a terrible host. I totally did not hear you say which game you're talking about, because I was writing the poll, and I figured I would just be honest as trying to be a decent friend and say, "Hey, Mag, what game are you talking about?"
Yeah. Oh, you know what? Surprisingly, there's a lot of people judging from like all the rhetoric going on about Star Wars Outlaws. It looks like more people are leaning towards playing it.
Oh, barely. What is it? 57%. I put a poll up for those of you who are listening to the show on demand. And you're not looking at the live chat, or you're listening to us on Spotify or iTunes and Apple Podcasts. Thank you so much for doing that, and hit the like button. Also, give feedback to the show if you're liking it. This is kind of a weird one for me to ask feedback, because I feel like Mag and I are going crazy today. But I asked, are you playing Star Wars Outlaws whenever? And I always have to say that because people say I'll wait for it to be on sale or wait for it to go to Game Pass. But yeah, no, it is. You're right, Mag. Right now it's sitting at a 63% with 37% saying no. So yeah, I guess a slight majority say they're going to play it. Yeah, I don't think it looks incredibly perfect. Maybe it doesn't look like a super great game. At this point, I'm like, man, I hope it's worth the money that I want to pay to play it. Yeah, it's been like that lately. That's kind of been why I've been kind of in this weird demeanor lately, Mag, because the gaming news has been so awful in so many different ways of negativity and so many problems. And then we're going to talk about Xbox's 2024 moving forward. And I was a little bit worried. I'm getting much more confident about this year the more I hear from other people. So, yeah. When you said Avatar, I had to push myself on the last 12 hours because it came such an obnoxious grind. But you haven't finished it, or you've just kind of played it a little bit?
No. What I do is when I buy a new game, I'll play it for like an hour or two.
Mm-hmm.
Just to get a feel for it, and I know what I'm getting myself into mentally. So I go like, all right, I get it. Then I turn it off. And I might not go back to it for like a month or two, sometimes 3 months, 4 months, whatever, because I'm playing other games. But I just want to check it out, so to speak.
No, it's got a very the first impressions are very good for Avatar. It's just after a while it gets really demanding,
like grindy and demanding, because that doesn't bother me.
Yeah, in a certain way, because I know somebody in the chat, I can't remember who it was a while ago, said that they're sick of the Ubisoft. The maps scare them, is what they said, which was a funny comment. I like that. It doesn't so much do the check off everything. It just expects you to do all these missions and little missions and over and over and over. And then I think I talked about it on the show like a couple months ago. When you want to try and get to the end of the game, it's like, no, you really need to do everything or you won't be at the level to actually take on the last missions. And most games don't really do that. I don't have that problem, but Avatar did. We're not going to talk about Avatar. The first one was better on the 360. Outlaws. So are you going to wait on that one, Mag?
Outlaws? No, that's going to be a wait because, like I said, I got other stuff on the go, and I've got about 7 or 8 games that are in line. However, I will always push to the forefront Game Pass games because they're coming out day one, and we talk about them on the show, right? So that it's something that we need to discuss. Like for example, Avowed, I'm going to play day one. Indiana Jones, I'm going to play day one. Obviously, Call of Duty. No matter what I got in the backlog, every time a Call of Duty comes out, it always takes precedence. And the thing is, it's not the majority of the precedence. It's just I'll play an hour or two of Call of Duty, and then after about a couple hours of Call of Duty, I turn it off because my eyeballs can't take it. And then I turn it off and I go back to my single player games. So I have some fun with the community. I'm like, hey, who wants to let's go, let's squad up, let's party up, let's do whatever. Play Call of Duty, have some laughs, but I can't play it for 5-6 hours. There's no way. So I turn it off, go back to my single player games, and I relax because my video games are my decompressing time, not my wind mag up time, right? Because my job and the pressures of work and life and everything else. I like to come home and play games to relax, not to sit there and play Call of Duty till my eyeballs bleed. You know what I mean? So like that's my thing. But anyways, the other games I'll play day one. Everything else, the Ubisoft games this year, I probably won't get them till 2025, at which case I'll probably get them like 50-60% off. So we'll see then. And hopefully the performance patches will be in, and maybe some graphical enhancements are in there and whatever else, and just make them a much better game. So yeah. But either way, I'm not saying no to either one. I'm excited to play both of them, to be quite honest.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really, really cool year. We haven't talked about Space Marines coming out, Space Marine 2. There's a bunch of really good games coming out this year, but one of them that actually finally officially leaked is that Modern Warfare 3, last year's Call of Duty, is coming to Game Pass at the end of the month. It's supposed to be July 24th or 25th, which is in a couple days. We're expecting that to be a Game Pass announcement, and Xbox going to go, hey, look, we got a big surprise. Like one of those things. Like, yeah, we knew. We all talked about it. But there's a second big game that is supposed to come to Game Pass. Like a big earth-shattering Game Pass stealth drop coming at this end of the month, I think it is. Do you know what it is, Mag?
Nope. Believe it or not, I don't know.
So
I swear I don't. I have no idea. Like,
okay,
that never crossed my plate.
So there is a classified document that a couple of people have had eyes on. Somebody that I've talked to that has eyes on a classified document that doesn't say what game it is. So I can say that without pretending like, hey, I know something you don't. All it is a very cryptic project name, like a code name. And I won't even repeat it because it wouldn't do you any good. It wouldn't lead you to the name of the game. But there are some people in the podcast circles and cycles, Meg, that think that Helldivers 2 is coming to Game Pass.
I've heard that. Yeah, I've heard that. I doubt it, but I don't know. We'll see. You never know.
I remember playing the first Descendants when I heard this rumor, and I just laughed and laughed. I don't believe that's going to happen. PlayStation has no reason to put Helldivers, their most successful IP this generation, on the worst performing console in the market. There's no reason.
It makes no sense. There's no need for it. PC, outside of the PlayStation ecosystem, PC is the target audience, and it's already on PC. So there's no need to go elsewhere. And even Nintendo, when they drop the new console, by then the game is done. Like, it's over. They made their money. You know what I mean? They're focusing on Helldivers 3 for the PS6. So, you know what I mean? That's what they're going to do. 100%.
I guess. 100%. Yeah, that's true. 100% I guess they're going to do that. That would be their next thing. Yeah.
They're probably going to focus on a bigger, more focused narrative, along with the multiplayer, bigger story. You know what I mean? Like something a little bit more like a big sweeping saga. I could absolutely see them doing that for the PS6, and know they're going to start working on it right now. They're probably already in pre-production, just like pre-viz and everything else.
Yeah, writing stuff on the whiteboard. Special Nick in the chat, who is the esteemed host and co-host and main host of Xbox Era podcast, says Helldivers 2 isn't coming to Xbox this month. How could they complete a port that fast? And when I read that, it sort of implies like what if it was coming eventually? But I really would like to double down that PlayStation, knowing PlayStation, there is zero reason for them or zero motivation for them to throw this bone to Xbox, even if it meant more sales and more players, because Helldivers 2 is probably one of the things that sped up their great console sales and kept their people on their system and on their services. So I don't think it's happening ever. But what about another very popular multiplayer shooter coming to Game Pass? Like, they're already going to drop Call of Duty. That's pretty much a given if we're to believe the leaks from some of the sources that have come around that normally are like in line. There's another game coming to Game Pass very soon that we stealth dropped that's never been on console. What could that be, chat? I'll leave it to you because I can't say. I can't say. I couldn't say. I wouldn't know. Why would I know? Why would I know what it is? Special Nick says, Valorant.
Valorant.
Valorant? Yeah.
Phasmophobia.
Yeah, there it is.
Interesting.
Yeah. Well, Valorant
is already on console.
Scott Gamerdew says Valorant's already on console. It's not, actually. It's not on console at all. It's only available on PC. That would be cool, Mag, if Valorant makes its debut on Xbox on console on Game Pass, but it's free to play already. So why would it go to Game Pass? Oh, wait.
I'm reading the chat because some people are saying it is, and then Special Nick is saying it's not. And so, like, it's interesting.
It is not. I know it's not on console. But what if they gave us Valorant for the first time on console on Game Pass, but it's free to play? So they could kind of do like the Paladins or Overwatch thing and say, you get like the Founders Edition, you get all 20 characters and whatever the perks that come with it. And then you can play against console people or PC people and absolutely get destroyed. But yeah, it is not on console. There is no console version of Valorant. And it's a really popular game.
I'm reading this right now. There is a wild scrap going on in the chat right now. It's like it's in beta. I literally have Xbox achievements for Valorant. It's on console. Closed limited beta. Type it in on the store. Okay, so
yes.
All right, so there's a beta.
It's not officially. It's not official public. Delilah HD says it is. Yeah, it's in beta, but you can't. It's not an official release. Yeah, not a full release.
So the beta actually has achievements attached to it too. Interesting.
I didn't know they were doing a beta for it. So I don't know.
Yeah.
The doctor goes, fight.
Yeah, the doctor, he's here. Yeah, I'll see you Thursday, bud.
Yeah.
I'll see you Thursday.
I don't know. That could be cool. I don't know how excited I would be if something like Valorant came to Game Pass.
You know what I'm more interested in now that they're dropping Modern Warfare 3? I'm interested on the thing is with Call of Duty players. Most Call of Duty players buy the game when it comes out, so I can't imagine that the majority of people already out there who don't already own this game. So how many? Like, I want to see how if this moves the needle in terms of like how many like the player count and stuff like that. I'm sure there's a lot of people out there who's like, you know what, I didn't bother shelling out for that because I heard it wasn't that great or this and that. So you'll have those people who are going to capitalize on it being in Game Pass. So that's great. What I'm curious about, I want to know what the download size is going to be like. That's what I want to see. Because, you know, when it comes to this thing, and I've talked about this, I've been actually very critical about this when it came to Call of Duty and Game Pass. Everybody's like, oh, you know, we're going to have 17 Call of Duties in there. How many are you going to be able to play? When they're 250 gigs a game. Like, you know what I'm saying?
There's a good chunk of Call of Duty games that aren't even available on PlayStation because of no back compat. So, hey, there's Red Wolf. He says, I'm late with a sad face. Yeah, appreciate you. I needed you for moral support today. I messaged him. I'm like, I need a hug. And he's like, new phone, who dis? So.
Yeah. So anyways, it'll be interesting to see it. But as for another shooter at the same time as a Call of Duty dropping, that seems kind of weird to me. I mean, like, you know what I mean? And then of all the Call of Duties to drop, they dropped that one. I just thought that was kind of weird.
Somebody said Valorant's May. It's an 81 on OpenCritic. It's a well-liked, very popular game. I'm sure if you look at Counter-Strike, the score wouldn't be super high, but it's super popular. I was going to Google something. What was it? Oh, Marvel Rivals release date. Like, is that coming out this year? Because no, it's not. I think it's 2025. there's a beta this year. Yeah, I don't know. There's all these games. If you have Valorant coming out in Concord, 2 different consoles though. Like you would essentially have Valorant on console if it came out on Xbox. That would be the brand new free to play shooter on console, and then Concord would be their brand new free to play or $40 shooter. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, so I don't know. I guess we'll hear something soon. I'm as I sit here and think about it, Mag, like is Valorant, sorry, I lost my train of thought. Is Valorant going to land on Game Pass in a couple of days, or is it going to be like announced for later on this holiday? Because that's coming up in a few days from now. Like, is it going to shadow drop and just be there? I don't tend to think that's going to happen, but maybe it will. We still haven't heard the official announcement about Call of Duty, and maybe it doesn't come out. Maybe it's set for the beginning of next month. I didn't actually read the article because some of the sources reported on it, so I just kind of held off on that. So anyway, let me look at. We got Steven Mewtwo. Thank you so much for the channel membership chat that says, hello, Colt. Great to see you. What games have you been playing? I've been playing Forza Horizon 4 and 5, and it was fun. And also, yay, I'm a 1-month member. Yeah, congratulations for being a member for 1 month. And you got early access to my video today that 5 people watched. So that's cool. Steven, I've been playing Assassin's Creed Syndicate, but you probably already heard that. Steven Mewtwo with the $5 super chat says, DEI in politics is ruining video games with great art, and I think it shouldn't be necessary in my opinion, but hey, it is what it is. Steven, I'm going to add to that developers really need to make sure that they're serving the character and the players and the game that is great. And I think representation does matter. And it's cool when you have a character that you can relate to that's different from who you are, but you have to make sure you're serving the game first. And I think we're going to learn that. Last week, Microsoft laid off their in-house DEI people. They probably already have stuff in place to do diversity, inclusion, and equality. They probably already have that stuff, but I think they're starting to notice, Mag, that it doesn't help them make more money, that it might just be a wash. Like you win some and you lose some, and then you have this group that you hired to make sure you win some, lose some.
Someone in the chat just said it. Cursion. Representation is fine.
Mm-hmm.
Forced representation is the problem. In the real world, there's no such thing as forced representation. It is what it is. We're all human beings walking around doing this, that, and the other, whatever. People at work are all people at my work, anywhere else you go, whatever, are all different races, creeds, colors, and whatever, and religions. No one talks about it. Nobody brings it up. We're just people. Hi, John. Hi, Bill. Hi, Cheryl. You know what I mean?
Hi, name that Colt's going to mispronounce.
Hi, Denise. Yeah, hi, yeah, you know what I mean? Whatever. It's just, and then like all different cultures. Hi, Anshul, how are you? Hi, Koshika, how are you? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Nobody thinks about this stuff. We're just people. We just talk. Hey, Dexter, how are you? Whatever. And so why would you hyper-focus? Look at me, I'm this. Look at me, I'm that. Nobody walks into work and does that. But they're doing it in entertainment. Nobody does that. And the problem is when you do that in entertainment,
they don't do it.
It's irritating.
In public, they don't do it.
It's irritating. It's so stupid. And then this is like, this is the first time in history that a white guy and a black guy were together in an action film. And I'm like, how old are you? 18? Sorry, I guess you never saw Lethal Weapon. I guess you never see, you know what I mean? And like all the other movies in the past, I guess you never seen Die Hard.
Some of the best movies. Some of the best movies. Yeah.
And there's just people are there. You're just there. Who gives a crap what you are? Jesus Christ. And the problem is when you try to do this BlackRock bullcrap stuff, we're going to force these, and it's not working because it's not organic. That's the problem.
Yeah.
I see people from all over the world do this hobby that we have, or this passion of ours that we have in the gaming or whatever. I want to see what all these other countries are working on. I want to see what the Koreans are doing, what the Japanese are doing, what the Africans are doing, what the Eastern Europeans are doing. I want to see what the South Americans are doing, and you know what I mean. And you're getting and the Indians, what they're doing and what they're doing in the UK and in Canada, whatever. And you're getting all these cultures and all these interesting things and all the, you know what I mean. And these great stories, and everybody's got history, everybody's got legends, everybody's got fables and stories they used to tell around the campfire. Tell those stories. They're interesting. Why do you think? Like, God of War did so well? Because it was all that Viking lore and the mythology, the Greek mythology with Medusa and all that cool stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, just do that. Do more of that stuff from all these different cultures that people are interested in.
And all those people from those locations, they don't all look the same. Somebody said, why is Yasuke in Assassin's Creed Shadows? Like, imagine if they put a Caucasian in Assassin's Creed Odyssey. And I was like, Greeks are Caucasian. They are literally considered Caucasian by their origin of where they live. And I'm like, why do we have to make this distinction between what people are? If you go, I love how games can take us into a world that is long since gone, and we can experience a story. And I want to experience Yasuke's story. I want to experience that because I think it's really cool. I just think this stuff is great. And I don't often say this, but I come from a place where there's just basically two races where I live. And when I got out onto the internet, got to meet people from all over the world and understand like where they're from and their different cultures, you really get to, it's a really cool experience. So this is the end of my video. Because I have a podcast, I've been able to meet people that are so much different than I am in so many different ways. And I've learned so many lessons along the way. And when I play a game like, let's just say Assassin's Creed Origins, which I freaking loved, I got to feel like I could experience that world and the people that live there. It gets really super preachy, but Delilah HD in the chat said something really great when we were talking about merit. She says, I can't even get an interview without merit in most cases. You need a degree, you need experience, and all of that. Like, and if you go work for a place like Microsoft, you're not even getting an email back unless you have the degree, the education, all of that stuff, right?
You have to have all that too. Yeah, it's not just like, oh, you're this, well, you're gonna get the job. Like it is, you actually have to have the skill on top of it. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, no, that's obvious. That's should be at least understood by most.
Yeah, it should be understood. But
to me, it was never an issue because I mean, I live in Ontario, Canada, and we are one of the most, and Toronto is one of the most one of the most diverse multicultural societies in the planet. And that's actually a fact. If you could actually look that up, that Toronto is one of the most multicultural. We have almost every culture under the sun, all pretty much living in harmony. And you know what I mean? And actually, it's not because
it's Canada.
And it's not because of race that there's a problem. It's just because there's assholes. There's like it doesn't matter what culture you are. There's always going to be criminals that cause problems from everybody. You know, from so it's not a specific group saying, oh well, these people are doing all this or these people are doing that. No. So we all live in harmony. You walk around Toronto, it's unbelievable. It's like a Benetton ad, like all the time. You know what I mean? You've got this. Like you've got all of it, and everybody just lives in harmony. Whatever, man. It doesn't matter. It doesn't make a difference. Yeah. You should see my kids, because my kids, like, there's a lot of Indian immigration that's been going on in Canada recently, especially in Ontario. My kids are like little, and you should see like the pronunciations of the names that you wouldn't even be able to spell out. And they're like, yeah, my friend so-and-so and so-and-so, and like, whatever. And they're like, yeah, we're going to the park together. I'm like, all right, good, have fun. And I'm like, imagine that. Imagine 60 years ago trying to pronounce that name. You know what I mean? And whatever else. But now it's commonplace because we're all just kind of walking around just doing our thing, man. And so, like, that's the way, but I still want to see more interesting, like India, for example. The only game I've played out of India was Raji. I played that on Game Pass, I think, 2 years ago. Did you play that game?
No. I didn't.
Go play it. It's actually a lot of fun. It's a great like AA game. I actually reached out to the developers to thank them for such a wonderful experience, especially in the Indian culture. And I'm like, you guys are fantastic. By the way, this is East Indian. I know some Americans still call they still call them Indian. Yeah. So
I always think about Sleeping Dogs. Like I got so invested in the character. It brought me into such a cool culture. When you walk around the streets of Hong Kong, where I got like, you don't get that from, maybe you don't get that from as many movies, but video games like allow you to feel like you can feel like you're in those shoes and you're there. I love that stuff.
Yeah, man. I want to see more. The point was, out of like India, I played Raji. There's like what 2.6 billion people over there. Give me more stories.
Yeah,
Give me some more cool stuff. I want to see cool like mythology with like Vishnu and like and all these the gods and all kinds of cool stuff like that. Give me that. Give me more of that. That'd be awesome. It's not like they don't have enough people to like work on this stuff. Like work on it, get it out there, get the funding. Let's go, man. I want to experience different things.
Yeah,
like
same.
That's to me, that's badass. Anyways, whatever. Let's get back to the show.
Thank you guys for putting up with us. We appreciate it. Noise FOMO says, you guys rule. I'm happy to hear the release of the haptic controller next month. Make me a cheeky version, laugh out loud. Like I said, Xbox said not Xbox. Somebody leaked that they think Xbox is going to announce a new controller that could just be a visual thing. I don't know. I really wanted that haptic controller to be a thing. We haven't heard anything about it. Udana Kazada, who's been a channel member for 54 months, but he's also been one of the main moderators for 54 months. He says more like Ubisoft. Ooh, brother. Ooh, Ubisoft.
Brother, ooh.
Yeah.
What is that? Brother, ooh.
I don't know. You know what? I'll just...
Sorry, I'm just going to keep doing it.
Just keep doing that. I think I would say I really like half their games. The other ones I don't like at all. So maybe that's fair enough. Johnny X1, thank you for the $5 super. Says, love your show, guys. I am still loyal to Xbox console or not. Well, I don't know. I'm not loyal to a console, but I'm sure hoping they do some cool things. Boner Jams from the Under the Bus podcast. Thanks for the $5 super. So cool to hang out with you a couple weeks ago. He says, evening, Kurt Eastwood and the proprietor of Fashionable Mail, Mag.
Really?
I guess.
Really? I got the Mallrats reference. Anybody else get the Mallrats reference? Yeah.
He says, Colt, great having you on the show recently. Love you guys. Hugs and kisses. Appreciate you. Red Wolf, thank you so much for the channel membership chat. He says, my only issue with Valorant is that they could have honestly just taken what they had and put it back to where they could have had it, but before without. This is something that Red Wolf does. He super chats people and then he writes like word salad and then makes them sweat over it. So anyway, love you, bro. He's got the super chat. He goes, when are we going to get it? I mean, and by that I mean honestly, when are we taking into consideration everything without having anything to begin with? And he did another one. There it is. So Red Wolf, appreciate you, you punk. Stephen Mewtwo, thank you for the $5 super. Says, there were some news articles and YouTube videos recently about Microsoft laying off their entire DEI department. Yeah, I don't know much about that, but they did. But I'm sure they still have some stuff in place for standardization. But when the CFO or whoever says this isn't financially viable, I think that's why I did this, where I said whatever they're spending for DEI, they're making and losing money enough to where it's just not doing anything. So I think we're going to see a more natural and organic, how do I say it? Interjection of cultures and genders and all that stuff.
Something
just based off the games.
Natural and organic. That's all everybody asked for.
Yes, absolutely.
Nobody asked for anything else. And plus, Microsoft doesn't even have money for marketing, apparently. You think they got money for that?
Can you? That was one of the topics. Can you say something? Can you tell the audience about that complaint for marketing? I'll give you the reins on that one for sure.
That was pretty funny. If anybody wasn't aware, which I'm sure you are aware, if you're listening to the show, you know what's going on. But yeah, they were talking about how somebody in the marketing department was saying we actually don't really have a lot of money for marketing and this and that, and actually they're pulling back on the reins, especially in areas, which doesn't make any sense to me. They're pulling back in areas that are not doing as well for Xbox, and they're basically cutting it as a lost cause.
Stupid.
What a stupid move. It's almost as stupid as raising Game Pass and punishing new people that might come to the ecosystem. But hey, what do I know? So like you're not doing as well in a certain area, so you decide to just give up on that area. That makes no sense to me whatsoever. You know what that makes sense to me? Actually, it does make sense. It makes sense because it's one step closer to becoming a third-party publisher and no longer supporting an Xbox console. That is 100% what's going to happen eventually, and it's going to be an on-demand. I said it last week. It's going to be an on-demand console for people who want it. They're not gonna be shipping it all over the world and wasting money and whatever. People don't want it. You're just gonna have to buy it online and they'll send it to you. The majority of their money is going to come from third-party publishing, and that's what they're focusing on because Microsoft runs the show, not Xbox.
Yes, absolutely. And the majority of their money already comes from third-party publishing.
Exactly.
In the vein of what the games that Call of Duty, but even before, most of their money came from Minecraft. So they basically were making most of their money from a third-party publishing standpoint. I really should have practiced talking today. I should get in front of the camera and go, wee wow wow was a wobble weeble wobble, so I can speak correctly.
You know, Scott Gamer Dude actually has a pretty good point. He's like, I know some people have talked about this, saying about third parties will start making consoles. Mm-hmm. That is exactly what Microsoft wants.
Oh, read
they're
it.
They're like, please. Oh, no, he literally just said, he goes, third parties will start to make them. And okay. I bet you Microsoft is probably sitting there going, yes, please take it off our hands. We're tired of spending $100 million in R&D and then all the wages and salaries of all these techs and this and that just to make a console that people aren't buying. I bet you that if they gave them the specs, just like a PC, and said, these are the specs, whatever, and this is what we expect to be able to run these games or whatever else, they have to pass through. Obviously, they have to pass like the tech code and everything else in terms of power and the benchmarks, and then off they go. I bet you they would love somebody else to make a console.
I don't know if that works.
Take it off their hands. Why not?
Because
I'm just saying, it sounds crazy, but you know.
No. I like the idea. I'm with you guys, but I don't think it works because Xbox makes a console and subsidizes it with services and games they sell.
Right.
Lenovo or any other, I don't know what other brands, Samsung or whoever wants to make something like that. Those companies wouldn't be able to subsidize the console. Like, how would they subsidize it?
They wouldn't.
They would, like, when you buy Assassin's Creed Shadows on a Lenovo Xbox, Lenovo gets none of that. All they get is the sale on the console. Now, the Steam Deck is held up by the Steam store. The Lenovo Go and the ROG Ally they must be making money, unless they can make it where it costs them, $500 to make and they sell it for $600, or $580 and they sell it for $600.
Right.
But Xbox right now can't even make a profit on their console. They're losing money, and PlayStation is making money on the PS5, Mag.
For the record, I actually wasn't agreeing. I wasn't saying that this is something they should do because it doesn't make sense. I'm just saying to them, that would be the ideal situation to have someone take it off their hands is what I was getting at. So that's 100% what they would want. They'd be like, yes, please take it off our hands. We're so sad. Please. You know what I mean? And so
please don't stop. Stop.
Yeah, I'm not exactly.
Please.
I'm not behind any of that at all because for the exact same reason, how would they make money? It doesn't make any sense. So it's anyway, it's neither here nor there. But I'm just saying, what they're trying to do, what they seem like they're doing with this whole marketing situation, it just seems like they're pulling back because they're more interested in the digital software, digital distribution of their product, which is where they're going to make a ton of cash. Like I said, digital. What are you paying for? You don't have to get it packaged in a factory. You don't have to get manufactured. You don't have to press discs. You don't have to send them out to retailers. Carbon taxes.
You don't have to pay for retail space.
Nothing. Digital distribution at 70%. Are you out of your mind? That is exactly what they want. Why do you think they're buying the titles they're buying? They're buying third-party titles. And they're going to keep them that way. And then the other stuff, eventually, whatever, we'll go over there. But like, they're going to do all that stuff because that's where the money is. It's insane to think otherwise because they're not going to be able to, well, it's unfortunate because they have some great titles coming up. They really made a hard push. But now I think that they're making this hard push at this point with that first party is because this was a plan that was put into play in 2017. And now things are changing where they're like, well, the games are like, they've already been working on for 5 years. They're not going to stop now. But now I'm going to question after all these games that they've announced, that huge slate of games, the big board that everybody puts up.
Yeah.
After that, I'm going to question what's going to be happening with a lot of the stuff after that, or they're just going to be churning out third-party product, from there on out. And it's going to be an interesting time. The next 10 years is going to be very interesting. So it should be. We'll see how the landscape changes. But at the end of the day, the fact that they don't have quote unquote money for marketing is very telling to me exactly where the business model is going. What do you think?
If they're scrappy and they don't have money for marketing in Europe, I would assume that they're spending very little, have a very small budget in North America where they actually thrive. The Xbox actually is not doing all that bad considering. Got to really add in the word considering. In North America, where they've been telling you for 8 years, you don't need a console. You don't need to buy an Xbox. And they are some like half behind the PS5. Whatever the number is. Like, I don't know, 31 million series consoles sold versus 60 million PS5s. That's worldwide too. But I think they're even closer in North America. But none of that matters. Yeah. But I agree with you, Mag. I think they're going to really move toward digital only, which I was talking to Modern Vintage Gamer about that, and he really gets upset when the disc gets left behind. But I'm like,
the disc is just a DRM code anyway.
I mean, the
At
game
the end
is
of the day.
Most games, the full game is on there. It's on the disc. But yeah, you're right. It is your key to play the game. But we're in the 2020s. I mean, I would even say we're in the 2010s, and we're still using plastic discs. It's kind of goofy, honestly. Where PC 15 years ago pretty much ditched using optical discs for their games. So they've been full digital for a while. And with console, people pretend like, and maybe this is why it bothers me. And I'd love to have a great debate with Modern Vintage Gamer. I love the guy and respect him so much. But I'd love to kind of hear the reasoning behind why is console considered the nuclear bunker device for your games? Like, I bought a console. I bought my games on console. I should be able to play them at any time just by putting in a disc or a cartridge. That's a cool concept. But I kind of think if there's no access to internet, if you can never plug into the internet again, I don't think we're playing video games on our console. We're eating dog food and driving our Dodge Challenger with a big metal bracket in the front of it. And it's Mad Max. It's Mad Max, baby, at that point.
Stephen Muti just said in the chat, he goes, if Xbox doesn't exist anymore, eventually it will be time to invest in a PC. And that's what they want. That's exactly what Microsoft wants. They want you to move to PC so that they can remove the middleman, which is themselves. They are their own. They are literally their own middleman. So they want to remove themselves from the equation and just go. And let's face it, a lot of hardcore Xbox guys have all left the ecosystem and gone to PC, which is exactly, you're falling right into Microsoft's hands, and that's exactly what they want you to do. They're like, yeah, please go to PC, get the hell out of here. Well, it's not making us money.
You're right, because they're losing $50 to $100 on consoles sometimes when they sell them. So they're like, yes, please go to PC so we can stop losing money. I think it's their own fault. They should be doing. They should not be, multi-trillion-dollar company should not be losing money on a plastic box. Shout out to Kurt5150 in the chat who says, Demolition Man, we will be eating at Taco Bell and wiping with the 3 seashells.
Kurt5150, if you can DM me and let me know how the seashells work. It's been 30 years and I still don't know how the seashells work, so I need to know. Apparently only Rob Schneider knows how to use it. Remember that? He doesn't know how to use the seashells.
How do you think the seashells work?
I have no idea. I never.
Okay,
I'm not gonna say it in the podcast.
No, we can skirt that line. I think I've heard that the 2 are to grab, and the last one is to clean.
Maybe you just fill the seashells with water and just splash yourself like a bidet.
Or you just teabag them, just sit over the seashells. Yes.
I don't know. We gotta ask Sylvester Stallone next time we talk to him.
He probably gets asked that all the time.
He's like, yeah.
Was
can you
that
imagine? He's like, "Ugh."
was Rocky real?
Yeah.
No. What's your other question? It's just 3 seashells, isn't it?
Hey, you guys stop asking me about these seashells, all right? It's been 30 years. I'm like, sorry, Mr. Stallone.
Dude, I would love. Kurt says, Mag, pinch from the front and the back.
Jesus, that sounds horrible. That sounds painful.
Because you're like literally just a couple clips away from the wrong pinch.
Yeah, no kidding. You could, yeah, never mind. I'm not gonna say it.
Snow Dragon says
I'm not gonna say
Demolition
it.
Man had the Demolition Man game on the Panasonic 3DO. I didn't know there was a game. I didn't know
Of
there was a
what?
game.
Demolition Man?
Yeah.
Yeah, I played it on 3DO. Yep, my
Dang.
neighbor had a my neighbor had a Panasonic 3DO, and the first game he got for it was Demolition Man. Takes a maniac to catch one. I remember that because that was a scene. It's Stallone drops from the helicopter. I remember in those days they did those FMV videos. They were like really bad. Like yeah,
Like
and
9
so,
pixels.
Yeah. Oh man, they were so bad. It's like the first Resident Evil on PS1. Remember that? Like the opening scene, the opening cinematic. Anyways, yeah. So like Sylvester Stallone drops out of the helicopter, and that's where you start. It's a first-person shooter, but one of those ones where you don't move around. You know the ones where you stand still, like Time Crisis.
Oh yeah. It's like a gallery shooter or whatever you call it.
Yeah, gallery shooter, and all the dudes jump up. You can't kill me, copper. You know, and then you like shoot them and whatever. Yeah.
We're so
Those games are
spoiled. Like we gripe about games, but games used to be nothing but like 9 pixels and just flashing dead enemies or exploding enemies. Johnny, let's say Johnny X1. Thank you for the $5 super. Says a 20th anniversary, a 20th super. I don't know what that is, but congrats. Off
Nice.
topic. It says, but I want to say I'm not even gonna. I'm going to read this, but I don't want to get into the conversation because we've done a lot of this. But Johnny says that Disney Star Wars Acolyte sucks, and it's the worst Star Wars show of all time. I haven't heard anything good, so I'm not watching it. Game Seeker, thank you so much for the $20 super chat. Game Seeker is probably the most patient person on the planet. We played one game together, and we've been talking. And every time we try to sit down a game, haven't been able to. But life's been crazy lately. Shout out to Game Seeker for the $20 super chat. It says Warframe 1999 expansion coming this winter looks bad. Colt Mag, have you seen the gameplay trailer?
I have not.
I haven't played Warframe since 2016, and I would be really far behind. Did you, Game Seeker? I'll ask you because I could ask Mag, but we get to talk all day on the show. Have you seen the No Man's Sky World 1 trailer for Xbox, PlayStation, and Switch? They totally overhauled the visuals. They've added a bunch of cool stuff.
Yeah.
Looks awesome. But
there were rumors that some of the new stuff for the new No Man's Sky expansion, well, not expansion, but the update was going to be for the PS5 Pro or this and that, whatever.
Yeah.
Just rumblings and all that. So I did hear about that. I think this morning, yesterday night or this morning, somewhere there and there. And it looked it seemed pretty cool. But we'll see, because again, we don't have anything. I'm watching the Warframe right now. It looks dope.
Yeah,
I'm literally watching. I got a third screen going on right now, and I could see it going on, and it's pretty awesome.
It's the first Descendants is like a direct competitor to what Warframe has established over the past 10 years or 8 years, whatever. So it's probably something that you and I should throw onto our console to just add to another nagging thing that we need and want to play. No Man's Sky has Xbox Wire just put out an article because the update is out for PlayStation a couple days ago, but there's no release date for the patch for Xbox or Switch. I watched a video on this for people who care about No Man's Sky. I know you probably don't, but you should at least take a look at the content, and their next game, Light No Fire, looks really cool too. But they're doing some cool stuff, but there's no update in sight for Xbox. Xbox Wire today said it's coming soon. Turns out No Man's Sky's World 1 update on PlayStation is a garbage dumpster mess. Bad performance, glitches, crashes, and problems like that. That's what I've heard from other people. I don't have it on PlayStation. I heard that Microsoft denied the update patch and is asking them to retool it before they'll make approval. Probably the same thing as Nintendo. Or they just can't get it running right, but I heard that it didn't meet their standard. So it's crashing. It's bad on PlayStation. It's supposed to be better when it comes to Xbox. So That's just kind of a weird thing. But as far as when you say the PS5 Pro, that is coming out this year. People are wondering, they're unsure about the leaks and things like that. I'll tell you right now to expect in September a digital showcase that will be released, or that will be revealed a week before. Sometime in September, there's going to be a digital showcase where they reveal the PS5 Pro. Hold on to this because this is my predictions. PS5 Pro, $599 standard, $600 console.
All right.
And they will showcase updates to games. They won't have anything new that's coming out on the PS5 Pro other than Astrobot, and Concord and Silent Hill 2. So with that, I don't really I don't have much more left in the gas tank as far as other stuff that we could talk about, Mag. And I wanted to not keep you here that long because I've been tired lately. But what are you going to be playing?
Summer's a busy time, man.
It is.
Between family, work, and then trying to game on top of that. And then, of course, beautiful weather. You're doing stuff outside. It's a wild time of the year, man. So, I mean, at least for us that have, seasonal changes, right? Because there's people who live in, areas where it's always hot and sunny all the time. It's not like that here all the time. So,
yeah.
I will be...
Hold on. I did tell you guys I was going to talk about Xbox's 2024 with the games that are coming out. We'll do that next show. But I just want to say I felt like either Indiana Jones was going to be slipped and delayed into 2025 or Avowed. But right now, I think those games are coming out in October and November and not December. I think that's what's going to happen. That's what I'm planning on. I could be wrong, but that's how I'm feeling. We'll talk about that next week. But Matt, go ahead.
Hopefully we have more news in the next little while about what's going on with those games because we don't even have release dates outside of.
We will.
Yeah, no, I know that. But I'm saying I'm hoping we get more information in the next little while that we can talk about it, and then we can discuss in detail how that's all going to play out in terms of giving these games time to breathe in the service, right? And you don't want to put them all in the same month because we'll cannibalize stuff. But anyways, I will
cannibalize itself.
Yeah, exactly. I will be playing more First Ascendant this week, or Second to Last Ascendant, whichever one you want to call it.
Can I jump in with you this week?
Absolutely.
Send me a message.
I'll be on. Yeah,
okay.
For sure. Just, you know my name. You know where you can find me. It's so good. I love it. So yeah. Let's do that. So I'm going to be doing that, and then eventually, sometime this week, I'm going to get back into Dying Light 2 because I dropped it for a few weeks because I wanted to give it a breather. I'm hitting close to 100 hours, and I'm like, I need to take a breather, and I just want to play some other stuff just to get a breath of fresh air, and then I'll go back to it. So, other than that, that's it. What about you, dude? What do you got going on?
I am going to marinate in Assassin's Creed Syndicate. I'm in what I think is going to be a 60-hour playthrough probably. And I'm just not rushing it. Yeah. It's beautiful on PC. It's running as high as it can. You can't really do anything more to a 2016 game or 2015 game. Tim Richards says he sent me a photograph of Valorant on console. Yeah, Tim Richards is in the beta. Yeah, so when that game, if that's going to be a release, that'll be pretty cool. I'll be playing Assassin's Creed Syndicate and then just maybe playing some First Ascendant with you this week.
Yeah,
but
cool.
Other than that, just going to kind of lay back and enjoy it's been like 95 to 100 degrees Fahrenheit here where I live, like almost every day. So just hanging out and enjoying everything else. I appreciate everybody's support for supporting what Mag and I do and putting up with our obnoxious voices, but we have a good time, and thank you for your support so much. Follow Mag. His stuff is in the description, and
the channel will be launching in the next 2 months, so that's going to be coming up.
Are you going to you're going to make a channel on Rumble?
I'm doing one on both. Yeah, YouTube and Rumble. I'm going to be broadcasting on both. Yes.
I didn't tell anybody, but I made a Rumble account the week after you explained that because I was like, what is this? And I put like my last 4 or 5 videos on there, and they got like 3 views. But
you gotta sort of, you gotta get in there. Like you gotta sort of, become part of the community and whatever else.
Thumbnail and didn't help.
Yeah, it takes time. But I mean, some of the other people getting on there getting major views and stuff like that, right? So
Scott Gamer dude says, please don't put Gaz on the show anymore. Laugh out loud. I freaking love Gaz. I can't wait to have him on again. And he says crack kills. Yes, and I'm fully aware that Rumble is considered a certain thing, but I don't care. I'll just put gaming stuff on there. I don't know if I'll put anything else on there, but I do not.
It's not costing you anything, and like the engagement will grow. But you know your initial audience is YouTube or whatever else, and then I'm gonna simulcast to both. So like I said, it's not costing me anything. It just opens it up to more people. That's basically it. That's the way I'm looking at it. So I'll take it from there. And of course, the Rumble engagement in terms of like monetization is way higher than YouTube. So
well, on 2 views, I don't know really how far that's going to go.
Not in 2 views, yeah. But if you start getting getting a foothold over there, absolutely, it's worth the time and trouble. So yes, but I mean that'll be launching in the next couple of months. I'm still working on a few things. I'm waiting for a studio, my brother's studio, to be built. I'm going to be recording some new sounds, new music. New theme song for the channel, all that kind of stuff. So I'm just waiting for some of that stuff to happen, and then I already got it all mapped out. It's just a matter of waiting for the actual studio to finish being built, and then we're gonna start working on it. So yeah, and then off we go. So yeah, but interesting times. But either way, it was a great show today, folks. Chat, you guys were awesome. Everybody was awesome as always, and then even the ones I yell at, you're awesome too. Love you too, guys. Love everybody that comes and checks out the show. Either way, we'll see you guys all next week, man.
Yeah, I appreciate that. One last thing, Spartan661 says, Gaz and Mag with Colt Eastwood have been the funniest shows I've seen on this podcast. All of you are amazing. I love reading that because a couple years ago, Gaz and I were co-hosts, and I brought Mag on, and it was magic having the three of us together, and I'm so glad that you're here doing the show with me, and we've learned a lot. We appreciate you for putting up with some of the political stuff. I hope that you guys learned something and maybe get, I don't know, some sort of insight of, hey, you know, maybe I don't need to be so upset about this or that. And maybe, just maybe, Meg and I help you guys go enjoy a game that you might not have thought that you'd like. And hopefully the games are fun. We're going to get out of here. Thank you so much. Mag, you're the best. Let me find the button. Where is it? It's over here. We're out of here. Mag, give him the salute, bro. We're gone. See you next week.